and welcome to Not Now in Theaters. I'm your host, Will Turntail. For this episode, we're looking back at writer-director Alex Cox's cult favorite, Repo Man, a film you might just say is all over the place in just the right places. A quick disclaimer before we begin. This review's factual information was gathered through online sources, like Wikipedia, IMDb, or interviews. Misrepresentations and errors are possible, but unintentional. Also, making art is hard, and this is a fan's blog, so any criticisms are meant to be constructive. Reference photos linked in the transcript are copyrighted by the Internet Movie Database. Alright, with that taken care of, let's go to the show. Repo Man 1984 review. Alex Cox's punk rock sci-fi comedy packing aliens in the trunk. Despite being inundated with and adjusted to the massive amounts of violence 80s and 90s kids like myself were allowed to witness on screen, another episode, I was a sensitive kid who scared easily and couldn't last a drop of horror. One scene that terrified me was when, in some seemingly random film, a police officer walked to the back of a car, lifted the trunk lid, and screamed in terror as he was vaporized in a red flash, leaving only his smoking boots behind. My dad changed the channel, and I never found out what that scene was about. Until now. Decades later, I know that officer burns up in the opening sequence of Repo Man. But the film is a comedy, not a horror show. And with all the spectacular trimmings of 1984, like young Emilio Estevez, Repo Man is a strange and wonderful beast. A science fiction tale with a hardcore punk rock soundtrack that gives the middle finger to consumerism. Like a lost Coen Brothers caper, it embraces a wacky plot and sometimes surrealist nature. And the end product punches far above its $1.5 million budget. Critically acclaimed on its release and held by many online as a verifiable cult classic, I was surprised I had never heard of this film until the 2020s. And it's the brainchild of noted punk rock movement observer, writer-director Alex Cox, who directed Sid and Nancy. A director who was later allegedly blacklisted by Hollywood. You can see the article from Vice in the transcript for more on that. But let's cut the hype. Is Repo Man a good movie? The plot of Repo Man. Young punk rocker Otto, played by Emilio Estevez, gets fired. Soon, he meets Bud, Harry Dean Stanton, a veteran Repo Man who offers him a cut of his latest job for helping him out. Otto assists Bud in the repossession and makes some cash, but balks at the idea of joining the crew. But as Otto's career options dwindle and his future sags, he starts a career in the repo business, with Bud and the other agents at the yard as his new mentors. And when a $25,000 reward goes out for a 1965 Chevrolet Malibu, all the agents make a play to find it. Soon, rival repo agents, robbers, G-men, and women, and even cult leaders all try to capture the car. And did I mention the radioactive aliens creeping around in the Malibu's trunk? You can read the rest of the main cast in the transcript. Alright, so now that you understand the plot, let's talk about what worked well in the movie and what I thought could have been improved on. I'll give out some points for the good things, deduct for the things I thought didn't work as well, and add it all up at the end. Good thing number 1, Estevez's performance, plus 2 points. Emilio Estevez pulls off the arrogance, sarcasm, and hint of youthful vulnerability needed to play the main character, Otto. Otto has the who gives a shit attitude to ask his sort of girlfriend for sexual favors in the middle of her workplace in broad daylight without flinching. But later, he struggles to close his briefcase, fearful and surrounded by mean-mugging relatives of a woman whose car he came to repossess. But Estevez never overplays it. As Otto struggles to gain a foothold in his world, he's a straight lens for all the crooked characters that fill out the film, be it the punks, repo agents, or a lobotomized scientist. And that brings us to the link between his performance and, good thing number 2, colorful characters, subcultures, plus 4 points. Repo Man builds lively, authentic characters because they fit into realistic subcultures. Otto is a disaffected youth, a punk with a fake ID. But even with his nasty attitude, you almost can't blame him. He hates his job at a store, where he's harassed over petty things like the spacing of the cans he's price tagging. His girlfriend unapologetically ditches him for his best friend because they are disloyal miscreants, aspiring criminals without morals. His parents are wacky enough to have fallen out of the film Better Off Dead, oddball hippies who smoke pot and donate his graduation present to a televangelist. With no prospects for a future, And full of angst, it's no wonder Otto falls in with the Repo Men, a group of outsiders with a strong camaraderie. As mentors to Otto, you have Bud, played gloriously by Harry Dean Stanton, and the other Repo agents working in the yard. With shades of Shelley Levine, of Glengarry Glen Ross, Bud is a curmudgeon who takes his craft of graft very seriously. Believing himself principled and dignified in his work, Bud is unable to see the hypocrisy of reciting his honorable repo code while snorting drugs. Bud is proud that, while the ordinary man spends his life avoiding tense situations, the Repo Man puts himself in dangerous situations. So you can see the mentor-mentee attraction between him and a frustrated Otto. Another standout character from the Repo Yard is Miller, played by Tracey Walter, an eccentric mechanic who speaks about cosmic unconsciousness, aliens, and time machines, all while a stoic, skeptical Otto is content to listen. And the CIA spies, Repo rivals, and Roswell scientists add a more believable quirk to the mix. Good thing number 3, wacky glue makes for continuity, plus 3 points. A sarcastic glue holds the ship together, despite the bits of offbeat dialogue or unhinged events. Miller's prophesizing, the rantings of a lobotomized scientist, a mysterious G-woman with a metal hand, it all fits the freewheeling tone of the film. According to Wikipedia, writer-director Alex Cox encouraged the actors to improvise in some scenes. This may be why so many lines feel off the cuff, yet work perfectly. Good thing number 4, making fun of itself, plus 2 points. Spoiler alerts here. Repo Man pokes fun at societal conventions and consumerism, like when punk rocker Duke asks his girl Debbie how she feels about settling down together because everyone does it just before giving up on the idea and robbing a liquor store instead. But when it goes wrong and a shootout ensues, we get the death of Duke, who unexpectedly gets philosophical before he goes out. Duke blames society for his fate, only for Otto to tell him it's crap, and that he's just a white suburban punk like him. It's a funny moment, but also demonstrates the thematic strength of Repo Man. It skewers 80s Reagan society, while also quashing the notion that the anger against it has neither a definitive source nor solution. Good thing number 5, loose cool things, plus 2 points. Punk legend Iggy Pop created the pumpin' on-point title track, and the soundtrack features the likes of the Circle Jerks and Suicidal Tendencies. When Bud and Otto go to the store for drinks, the cans say drink on them. When Otto gets food from his parents' fridge, it only reads food. I don't know if this is to avoid the copyrights of name brands or a product of the film's budget. Still, it feels like an intentional comment on our consumerism. Stripped of its packaging, a drink is drink, and food is just food. The plot mostly resolves by the film's end, but not entirely, and the ending is very punk rock, not bothering to put all its broken parts and pieces back together. But without spoiling it, it's an ending that very much works and deserves applause. Fun fact, I've heard rumors that, in a bizarre moment of life imitating art, the Chevy Malibu was used in the movie was stolen, and production had to stop until it was thankfully located. Alright, now let's get into some of the not as good things about Repo Man. Not as good thing number 1, aged jokes, minus 2 points. The only drawback to this movie is that, like other comedies from prior decades, some of its humor doesn't age so well. While the sci-fi elements are timeless and the characters monologuing intriguing, Otto's thefts gone wrong aren't that comical by today's standards. He gets beaten up, shot at, or falls into a car chase with Bud. Still, these scenes lack clever one-liners, out-and-out shocking behavior, or deadpan delivery. But the pacing is crisp, so they don't last long enough to drag the movie down. Okay, so adding things up, Repo Man's total arbitrary point score comes in at 11 points. On my scale of let's not watch, should I watch, or go watch this movie, I will give it my go watch rating. The film is a fun time for fans of quirky 80s movies, cult movies, or films with dark humor. With its cast of miscreant punks, overly dedicated repossession men, CIA agents, and Roswell scientists, all after a Chevy Malibu full of aliens, you won't see another movie that can tie all that together while adding a strong F you to the man here and there. Thank you so much for listening to my thoughts on Repo Man, directed by Alex Cox. You can watch the trailer with a link in the transcript thanks to Rotten Tomatoes Classic Trailers. If you like this episode, please leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. They really go a long way for channels like ours. And if you've got a comment or a question, you can find me at willturntail.com or search for Not Now in Theaters on our Instagram or Facebook pages. This podcast episode is a production copyright of Overegged Media, LLC, located in Sacramento, California. Introduction music, Neon Laser Horizon by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. Exit music, Canon in D for 8-bit synths by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. Additional music, Newer Wave by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. Goodbye for now.